Can't say I was expecting to stream 3 Molina sets in a row. I definitely love to try and get as many people as I can on stream, but at the same time, when you've got a performance like this, I mean, it's hard to look away. It's hard to look away. Milena and Ember, the 2 players left in the tournament who still have a perfect record. But one of those has to come to an end now. We'll see. I am honestly hoping to see a good performance from Ember, because I feel like for so long Ember's been a top player, but the last little bit Ember's been having a couple stinkers. But I know she's still every bit as good, so we'll see how it plays out. Ember debating on whether or not she wants to set up the potential for a perfect LSAW jump. Opts not too bad looks of it. I really like this map. We've had a lot of really like free-form maps, really rough around the edges, not too many straight pathways, but Potions is not afraid of giving you straight corridors and straight columns, and I think that a lot of really interesting building comes from that. Really, really good map competitively. No struggle for either player quite yet. To be expected, but sometimes you see some crazy round ones, so who's to say? Okay, now where's the wrecking ball gonna go? I see a beautiful spot for it, but I don't think Ember wants to do it. Interesting. That wrecking ball could definitely come into play with the cannon. Okay, I really like that arrow. That arrow just provides so much opportunity to place down good builds. Cause like a long column like that, I don't know, the thing about arrows that's just so nice to me is like you can use them in individual setups. You can use them on the small scale. But if you have an arrow and you don't have any like specific setup in mind and you just want to place something that has a strong impact, you can kind of just place arrows like that where it's in a wide open section and it allows the arrow to travel. It just gives it more space where it can be valuable. It's such a versatile item. Okay, wait. You know what's better than 1 arrow? 2 arrows. Ember doesn't want to go for it though. Kind of sad. I love setups where like arrows are staggered between each other, and I feel like there was a perfect opportunity to do it there. Okay, but wait. I like the RSAW. Oh, okay. For those of you that were watching the last set, maybe you've noticed that by now. I think Ember might not see it. Okay, Ember does see it, but Milena wanted to place the exact same Kiata jump that almost scored her a point last round against Selly. Okay, Milena losing early life. That RSAW from Ember paying off. Let's see if we'll see if it's enough to get anything big off of. Quite. Still, definitely enough stuff left on the map that dying is possible, but with how Milena's been playing, I feel like this round is just going to be another wash. Okay, Milena, 3 wires here. What is Ember's plan with that 2x1? Oh, wait. We are... Honestly, you might be able to do it with a block as well. I see some beautiful stuff. Yeah, I see some beautiful stuff that could be placed right where Milena placed those 3 wires. I feel like you could create a setup that forces you to go for that precision in between. Maybe it'll come up, maybe it won't, but... You know, the biggest thing about commentating, I love commentating, don't get me wrong, but the biggest thing is that sometimes people are playing and I will see like a beautiful setup and the player within me just does not, it can't accept that I'm not able to place things. I have to let them build. Okay, Ember moving beautifully so far. You know, obviously, you know, it's hard to say who's winning a match before any points have been scored. But a lot of the time, I feel like when a player is moving confidently and well, it's pretty good chance that they're going to be the one that's winning. We'll see, though. Molina, if Molina can get through this, then probably going to be another wash. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong. Maybe there's more difficulty than I understand here. When are we going to be seeing a big build? 4 rounds in. Okay, Milena gets the wire. Yeah, that's a good placement. Ember probably gonna want to bomb that. Yeah, not too surprised. That setup does utilize AVS, and while it is a version of AVS that is possible on controller, I know that Ember hasn't practiced too much with it. Okay, wow, yep, Milena. You know, I was talking about the thing that's bad about being a commentator, not being able to place things. But the thing that's good about being a commentator is that sometimes you see beautiful setups and the players set them up anyways. Great minds think alike, I guess. Maybe in my case, foolish minds seldom differ, but... Definitely setting up that precision. A good play against Ember. I think Ember's really good at timing. Ember's really good at general movement and some tech, but when it comes to precision, I feel like that's one of the areas where she's lacking a little bit. Especially compared to Milena with how much experience Milena has with difficult precision maps. Current Precision Hell 4 world record holder. That being said, it honestly might not even matter. If Milena can't make it through that jump there, she's not even going to get an opportunity to try. We'll see. Okay, Milena does get it. It's all about the precision now. Yep, okay. The pressure's on Ember. Things have immediately flipped around. If Ember doesn't get the precision here, then 1 life left. Milena already at the goal. This is a high-pressure situation. Will you fold, Ember? Will you fold? Time is ticking, but Ember moving beautifully through it so far. No problem getting through that jump. All that stands in your way, 1 bit of precision. Ember does get it. Okay, it is a race against time now. And I think Ember's got it. 1 second to go. What a buzzer beater. Staying alive. And yep, Ember again gonna build against that precision. The thing is, though, a lot of people when they talk about building, they say, oh, but it's really easy to counter build against something, you know? But the thing is that as soon as Ember commits to counter building, that means Milena gets 1 turn where she doesn't have to worry about being counter built. So now Milena managed to place that precision and Ember has to build against it. And then suddenly the same thing happens. Ember's building against that and now Milena gets a free build with those wires. That being said, I think Milena got build advantage there, but I think maybe didn't make the best use out of it. Because I don't see a world where Ember's going to struggle nearly as much with the current setup as the other setups have been placed. We'll see, though. I've been wrong so many times before. And Ember. The tables have turned. Ember is looking so clean. Just 1 round ago, Milena made it through with no problem, and it was looking like Ember was going to get scored on. It took a last-second buzzer beater to keep her in it, and now Ember, not a single life lost. Okay, Milena does get through there. Okay. Still 0-0, completely tied up. I will say, I really like the way that Ember chose to counter build. Because in the last round, Milena placed this precision here above the RSL. Most people, when they see that, their opponent built something that they don't like, they try and remove it. They try and fully make it as easy as possible, or they bomb it. They do anything they can to just make sure that that setup doesn't exist. But what Ember did instead was turned a setup that was disadvantageous and made it something that she specifically is good at. Because now it's an issue of timing, which is where Ember excels. And it's so important because if you're bombing, if you're removing what your opponent places, then that gives them a permanent state of build advantage. That means that every single turn you're doing that, they don't have to worry about what you're doing. But if you can take a setup that's bad for you and turn it into something that's good for you, suddenly you have the opportunity to gain that build advantage back. It's one of the most fundamental core ideas when it comes to building in this game. But a lot of people don't really get that. I see too many people who are, you know, really focused on bombing and just removing for counter build. But Ember giving a masterclass of how you can really get build advantage back. I mean, you know, I can talk about the theory all day, but you can see it pretty clearly how last round Ember made that play, and in a very tangible way, she took an advantage. And Milena did a pretty good job this turn of building in such a way to kind of neutralize that. So now we're kind of back to square one. Both players getting through everything really cleanly. Only 4 rounds left. I mean, this is a volatile position to be in. For either player, it's a little bit scary. One slip up, 1 point scored. It's not much time left. Okay, for a second I thought Milena was doing some high-level building stuff there, but I don't think Milena had the plan. I hope I'm not rambling too much when I'm talking about all this stuff, because building in this game is so interesting to me. It is so in-depth, and I think a lot of people don't realize just how deep it goes. But what Milena was doing right there, hovering her build in a spot where Ember wouldn't want it, to bait Ember into doing a quick counter build. Because from Ember's perspective, the only way to really counter build against that is to place something down before Milena gets the chance. So if you can manage to do that, get Ember to build first, then all of a sudden you have the opportunity to build whatever you want. And Ember can't stop you because she's already used her build. Stuff like that, baits are just, they're such an interesting part of the game, and I think it's something that Morphin does really well that I think people don't really give enough credit for. He's good at that side of the building aspect of the game. And people always talk about his mechanical skill, but he's as good a builder as he is a player. Okay, I really like this R-Saw. Honestly, another really good example of Ember's counter building being as good as it is. Because it would be so easy to place something that just removes the difficulty, but again, it takes something that could potentially be disadvantageous and puts it into Ember's favor. But still, not enough in Ember's favor that either player is able to score here. We need to see some difficulty. I think both of them are a little bit scared of placing it down right now. Okay, 3 wires from Milena. This could be big. What is the plan? You don't have too much time. Okay, I like that, giving a little bit less time. Giving a little bit less time on the drop down. I think against controller players specifically, that type of build is actually quite strong. You know, keyboard players... Oh wait, I might be tripping. Milena might also be on controller. I could be wrong on that one. Okay. Interesting. Milena's struggling a little bit to build this game. And so far, I've been very impressed with what Ember's been putting forth. But all that considered, you know, good builds aren't enough. Sometimes you need to be willing to take the risky plays that don't seem so good to make the map hard enough that you can actually score. So far, no problem. Okay, I didn't notice that last build by Milena. I do really like the precision. I also like the potential opportunity to create that half block. I don't know. I see a couple of ways to do that setup, both of which I think could be really good. We'll see what they opt to go for. We're at an interesting point in the match, because I feel like most of the difficulty, like the level is set up in such an interesting way that I think could genuinely be really advantageous for Molina. Because all of the really difficult setups are at the end of the map. Okay, wait a second here. Ember can't get the precision. Okay, what I was saying, all of the most difficult parts of the map are at the end. But the first section of the map has timing-based setups that slow down the pace of play. So what that means is that the only way you're able to utilize all of your lives is if you play fast. Something that, you know, Milena, again, world record holder for precision Hell 4, something that Milena should be really good at. I mean, we saw it last round, right? Both players slowed down a lot in the early section, and both of them had, what, a full life left that they didn't get to utilize? So this is where speed really becomes a virtue. Ember placing more flowers, really slowing it down early on. Something that I find really interesting too about this is like another secret avenue for depth that building has that a lot of people, again, don't talk about. If you can slow things down in the way that I've been talking about, where people don't get to utilize all of their lives, you're functionally doing the same thing as creating a really difficult setup, because you're increasing the volatility. The less lives you have, the more likely it is that somebody's going to score, and the less consistently you can predict who it's going to be. I know for sure, I've talked with Selly a little bit about stuff like this before, and I'm sure some other players have started to incorporate that type of play into their game plans, but... Okay, now wait a minute. Ember's pretty far through, and I think, realistically, this is probably going to be Milena's last attempt. I think the timer is going to be coming up within, like, the next 10 seconds or so. Ember makes it through. Not a whole lot of difficulty left. Maybe I was wrong about the timer. Maybe there's a bit more time than I thought. Ember makes it through the black hole. It is all on Milena now. Okay, wait. Realistically, this is probably going to be the last life that Milena has. Is it now or never? Doesn't get the precision. 16 seconds might be enough, but Milena doesn't seem to think so. Doesn't take the last life. That's going to be a point for Ember. And boom, immediately, exactly what I was talking about. The volatility increased because of the slowed down setups early on in the map. So these players so far have been afraid of creating any really difficult setups, but Ember overcomes that indifference to it by building something in her style. A lot of timing-based setups that slow down the pace of play. Really incredible stuff. That type, it's so rare. It's so rare that you really get to see that type of thing in the game in such a tangible way. But I love when the game's depth is on full display. Molina can't figure out what to do here, but this is a crucial build. Ember has been kind of cleaning up these last few rounds, making it far every time, and just last round able to score. Ooh, really rough draw for Ember. That squeeze didn't go. Okay, wow. I like that black hole. I really like that black hole. Forcing such a weird jump height below those wires. Okay, wait a moment. This could be big. That precision is gone, and Ember is on 1 life left. Well, two lives left, I guess, but if Ember can't make it to this section, this could be an immediate comeback from Molina. And Ember, again! Ember maybe not paying attention to the way that Molina's trying to go about that setup. Okay, and Milena makes it the flag. There's still definitely enough time. Ember, what is your response? And we're going to tiebreaker! Just like that! Just like that. 1-1. Unbelievable stuff. Okay. All right, let's see it. It's tricky because normally in speedrun based tiebreakers, I feel like it kind of goes without saying that the player with more aptitude for speedrunning is more likely to win. But there's something to be said about the consistency that Ember has when it comes to a lot of these setups that really could work in her favor. Okay, Molina, what's the plan here? Wow, okay, wait a minute. I'm actually a little bit surprised. I didn't think that Ember would want to remove that that flower. But I guess that is the reason that Molina scored last round, potentially. Now let's see if Ember can adapt, because Milena has been going about this setup in what I would say is a strictly superior way, and I don't think Ember has been really taking notice of it so far. Okay, okay. Milena, you know, it is a speed run, but Milena does kind of have all the time in the world. The real question is, does Milena notice? Milena does not. I'm pretty sure that you can actually do that setup with a slide off. If you wall jump all the way to the right wall and then just slide off into that gap, I think that might be the best way to do it, but maybe neither player wants to take a risk trying something in a new way this late in the round. Both of them neck and neck. Milena still has an extra life, so honestly, if I were in Milena's shoes, I would feel pretty good about going as fast as I could. Because even if you die, you know, you still have another opportunity. But you want to put the pressure on Ember. Ember's the type of player who, like, when left to her own devices, she really can get a lot of things done. Okay, let's see it. Timer's on, but I'm fairly confident that both players have enough time to make it through to the end here. But it doesn't really matter if both players make it. As long as one person does, that is the game. Ember down for the count. Milena, only 14 seconds left. Not going to be enough. The time pressure gets to her. One more round at least in this tiebreaker. Okay, and Milena recognizes so far that she's been making it further and doing it faster. So in a spot like that, for sure, the right play becomes just removing the difficulty towards the end, because you're the one who stands to benefit from it. Okay, and Milena getting through so far. There's not too much difficulty left. From what I've seen so far, Milena has a really good grasp on the last section of the map. And without the precision to keep her from doing it, this could just be it. Ember calling it now, not even opting to respawn. I mean, I understand going against, you know, someone as good as Milena. It's understandable to be sure that your opponent's gonna make it. But I mean, you gotta at least try. But that'll do it. Milena wins it in the tiebreaker. What a ridiculous set. What a ridiculous set. For so long, neck and neck, second last round, Ember scores, Milena answers back, and then a tiebreaker. That was cinema. Cinema. Good stuff to both players. We have one round remaining in the tournament. I think we're going to be watching Raito versus Kreutz. I could be wrong on that one. We'll have to see. But we will be back soon with the final round of Grand Swiss 4. As a reminder, the tournament is also going on tomorrow. This is a Swiss stage into bracket tournament. So today, the results will feed players into a double elimination bracket that's happening tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. EST. But we will be back soon with the final round.